Hi everyone. So this is a new format that we're going to be putting out via the CWA. It's a podcast, and we hope to have special guests invited in to talk about sustainability issues. We're starting the podcast because we need to start getting more messages out there about what the CWA is, what we plan to do with it, and how it can help your cleaning business improve your sustainability in its materials, in its operations, and everything like that. So we'll have a little rundown today about what the CWA is, why I started it, how Adam became involved, and kind of a little bit of the short-term future of what we've got planned. So this is Adam. I asked
Hello.
Adam to join the CWA, how long ago now, Adam? 18 months?
Yeah, about that.
About 18 months ago. So the reason for inviting Adam on board is it needed a chairperson that was very experienced in the cleaning industry, had an interest in sustainability, also wasn't completely tied to a manufacturer. So I sell a specific set of products, and we need someone chairing the CWA that takes a pragmatic view to all of the products and options that are out there. So Adam sees it up. I founded it, and it was my idea in the first place. So Adam, I don't know if you want to say a few words about why you joined the CWA, why you're interested.
Yeah, my approach, I have my own consultancy business, Soft Service Solutions Limited. My policy has been throughout that I wanted to be able to offer best advice without being tied into any product manufacturer or supplier. From a financial point of view, it means that I don't get any benefits from introductory fees or anything like that. But I think that my principle is I'm being paid to do a job by my clients, and I shouldn't be adding to that to gain financially. It's for their benefit, not mine. So, for example, if I survey a building or survey a contract, I can very often come up with ways that you can either change your operation or change the structure of it to be more profitable, be more productive, and to be more sustainable. So just by simple use of using certain products, you can move away from having to be dependent on the general standard of products that there are. And one of the reasons that I like what Joe's providing is, as an example, he gives a completely different alternative to a cleaning solution in a plastic container that's liquid. And just by taking one product like that and changing it to a sachet solution that's in a powdered format, all the benefits of sustainability come into your business without you having to look outside the business for what you can do about your carbon reduction.
Oh, great. Thanks for that. Thanks for your intro. So today we wanted to discuss why did I start this thing. So it relates to my previous experience in a different market. So I was head of marketing, group marketing for a multinational air conditioning business. I was in the business for 12 years, and we were heavily involved in legislation and driving our market based on sustainability goals, safety goals, all sorts of different things. And when I entered the cleaning market in 2020, I noticed there wasn't really a very tied up approach to sustainability governance, accountability in the cleaning space. So we've got B Corp as a major overarching sustainability process you can go through. There's a few others that focus on carbon and CO2. We've got things like the Carbon Literacy Project, stuff like that. And I thought, why isn't there anything that focuses purely on cleaning products? Because inherently they are wrapped in plastic. That's a big issue. Secondly, those chemicals inside could be toxic to our waterways and our ecosystem. And thirdly, shipping heavy water around, which is what 90% of products are, is very, very CO2 intensive. So that's why the CWA was born. With my other priorities on my other businesses, obviously it then took not a back seat, but I kind of didn't really pick it up and run with it as well as I should have. And then 18 months ago, I asked Adam to join. We've just been over to kind of take that mantle and push us into the future. So the goal of the CWA really is to help businesses, be you a cleaning contractor, a manufacturer, a distributor, help you truly understand the environmental impact of your business and not just piece parts of it. So most of the sustainability guidance out there right now and what you can pay for with certification or kind of consultation from people is based around CO2, which, don't get me wrong, very, very important. We have to do it. The country has net zero targets. The world has net zero targets. Businesses have their own net zero targets. It's mega, mega important. However, as cleaning businesses, you can make a far greater environmental impact by looking at every aspect of what you do. So controlling your plastic waste, controlling the toxicity of the things you use, the amount of consumables you use. So offering hand dryers rather than hand towels to customers, reusing cloths, the kind of the sustainability actions that you can take are huge, and in many ways can make you more money. Adam, we've investigated this. You can save money. You know, this will hit your bottom line of profit by being more sustainable in most cases. And also it gives you those tools to be able to market to your customers that you are the most eco provider that they can find. Many, many businesses now have CSR policies, wanting to get the most environmentally friendly supply chain they can in place. And that's going to reflect on cleaners. There's no two ways about it. It's picking up pace. And more cleaning contractors are looking into what can they do in the sustainable space, because ultimately the clients are asking for it. I don't know if you want to elaborate on that anymore, Adam.
Not much, because I think I covered the basics of it when I did the intro. But as Joe says, it can be a vast range of things. So I used chemicals as an example. Joe hinted at the cloths. If you have a circular microfiber cloth system where you're laundering your own cloths, you can save yourself money by not buying them. Last year, I was working on a very big contract in London, and they were buying 50 to 100 microfiber cloths a month. And there was no need for it, because they just needed to be laundered, and that would have meant that those same cloths would have lasted for up to a year, possibly 18 months, and being used every day. So just by changing the way you operate, you can actually save yourself money and still improve the sustainability credentials.
And with these big contractors and bid writing and things you've been working on recently, Adam, is that reflected in tender documents going out and requirements put upon cleaning contractors? You know, a client saying, what is your CSR policy? What are you doing to help our environment?
They don't tend to ask that too much. They do ask what you can do for sustainability and what you can do about improving productivity. And the big buzz thing at the moment is motion sensing in rooms, which doesn't apply to a lot of buildings. But the benefits that you can get when you get to being as technical as we do when in our conversations, some of the people actually reading these documents don't understand the technology. And so it's quite difficult to introduce something like circular microfiber, because they just see microfiber cloths as being the be all and end all. They don't understand the system behind it that needs to be in place. And the same goes for microfiber mops as well. You can use exactly the same machinery to keep those clean and improve your longevity. So for example, with the mopping system, if you're using a bucketless mopping system, you're reducing the amount of water you're using, which is beneficial to them, but they don't understand the technology behind it.
So what do you think 2023 holds for the sustainability cleaning, the cleaning market in regards to sustainability? What can you see changing this year?
I think you can extend that to all businesses, because there is a global deadline of 2025 to reach some quite substantial carbon reductions and improvements in sustainability. And I think that what we're doing and what we're trying to do as much as anything is to educate people. And because the focus is on the big buzz things like carbon neutrality and plastic reduction, there's an awful lot more that can be taken into consideration so that you achieve both of those, but you also achieve a much more profitable and a much more productive method of cleaning. I think the focus really for most people needs to be look at what they're doing, look at how they're doing it. Don't necessarily take guidance from distributors and manufacturers, because they will always sell you what they want you to have. They won't necessarily sell you what's best for you. And to blow my own trumpet a little bit, come to people like me who understand the technology, who can look at what you're doing, and who can maybe recommend where instead of using 3 or 4 machines, you can buy 1 or 2 machines to do the same jobs, or you can approach it in a different way. I
think you've hit the nail on the head there, that greenwashing is rife in cleaning. I'd say the cleaning market is 2 to 3 years behind retail in calling out greenwashing. So, you know, H&M getting called out for not really making eco clothes. They're still bad for the environment. I don't think for another 18 months, 2 years, people are going to start calling out greenwashing going on in the commercial cleaning market. It is. I'm convinced it is. And you're completely right. You need to come to experts like yourself to cut through the marketing spin, because all manufacturers and distributors are seeing sustainability as a USP right now. So, okay, I can sell more stuff for more money if I say it's green, and cutting through their claims with a knife is very, very important. You can't take in the sustainability space what someone says for granted, is my view. You need to dig and dig and dig and ask, is it really doing what they say? Because it's a minefield.
Yeah, indeed. And sustainability isn't just about cleaning or how you do cleaning. It can be about your work, your staff base. So your resource of people that you've got to do it. And we're in a period at the moment where we've got a dearth of availability of operatives that can do the work, because there just isn't the labour pool there. And one of the things that you can do is improve your productivity simply by changing the way you do things, so that, for example, you could be using probiotic machinery. So you've got a machine that's doing the job that a cleaning operative would do, so that frees up their time to do something else. So equally, you're being more productive with less people. Labour is one of the more expensive sides of your business. So if you can't find those people to do the work in the first place, putting an alternative method or more productive method in place is going to benefit you, rather than just doing the same old thing with a vacuum cleaner, a mop, a bucket, and a big scrubber drying machine, which maybe you don't need in the first place.
So you see the labour market making machinery and the robotic market grow?
It will grow, but it needs people that understand how to use it. Because going back to my earlier comment, the manufacturers and distributors will sell you what's most beneficial to them. And of course, if they sell you an expensive machine, their profit margin's higher on it, or the profit benefit is higher on it. So sometimes you don't need a big expensive machine to do a very good job, or you might put a small machine in place instead of, say, for example, a mopping system. So if you use a contra-rotating brush scrubber drying system, it's quite light and easy to use, but it's 4 times as productive as a mop.
Now, you're talking about productivity here, though. I've put a question to you as we're talking about sustainability. Is that more sustainable?
Yes.
But it uses electricity.
So to use that example,
it uses electricity, which creates CO2. A person doesn't.
They don't. We're talking about productivity. You've got a person with a mop and a bucket, so they've got 20 litres of water in a bucket.
Yep.
Which they return a dirty mop to the bucket, and as you clean with it, the more you clean with it, the more progressively it gets dirty. Okay, so I know that's not sustainability, but that's productivity, that's standards. But you've got a 20-litre bucket of water. With a contrary rotating brush system, you've got 2 litres of water maximum, and you're covering the same area, and you're applying clean solution to the surface as you're working. You're gathering up the dirty solution into the dirty water tank, and then that's all that's thrown away. If you use a scrubber drying machine, you could be using anything up to 40 litres of water in that machine to do the same job.
Right.
And much heavier machine, and so much more demand on electricity.
One for a calculation that I don't know how to do, I guess.
It's I don't think anyone's really quantified it. There are some examples of productivity, so like with the contra rotation.
I get the productivity point. I just sorry, I'm poking, as I do, I'm poking the sustainability agenda of, is it more sustainable? I would love for someone to answer that. You know, can someone answer that for us? Is it more environmentally friendly? It's more productive, I get that. And where do you draw the line at the CO2 and environmental impact? You know, could you have one cleaner turn up in their car rather than 4? So there is a CO2 net benefit. You know, there's lots of different variables,
car sharing and things like that will benefit as well. But you know, we've had conversations between ourselves about the benefits of sachet soap systems compared to cartridge soap systems and
captive ones.
The huge benefit on that is more around transport. So, for example, with a box of a sachet system, that will be the same as a pallet of, or more than a pallet of liquid soap solution. No matter whether it's a liquid soap or a foam solution, the weight is the same on the pallet, and you get the same result from a box which weighs less than 20% of the weight of that. So that's where the benefit to the business is being sustainable, is because they're not producing that delivery carbon that it's not within their business, but it's part of their supply chain carbon.
And do you feel distributors should take more responsibility for it's not captive carbon, is it, but the inherent carbon tonnage that comes with what they do? You know, their supply of products to cleaners.
I think they need to be more transparent in the costs. A lot of them are offering a neutral system, so they're offsetting their carbon, and that's a completely different conversation. But they're offsetting their carbon when they pass that benefit on to their clients, but it still doesn't tell the customer at the end of the line what the carbon cost is to them.
Well, they feel they are, though, because the customer thinks they're getting net zero, don't they?
They think they're getting it, but you know, to introduce something that my wife said here, which, you know, she basically just threw out a comment and said, carbon offsetting, it's like buying stars. And
I like that one.
But what is the real benefit? You buy a star, you can either say, oh, I own a star, or you can buy a plot of land on the moon. I own a plot of land on the moon. But actually, what real benefit is it to you or to anyone? And the same goes with the carbon offsetting. You're buying someone else's negative carbon imprint, but it's not really benefiting anyone. All it's doing is moving it around, and potentially it's costing money to do it as well. So if you change
I can't believe like Shell and BP are claiming they're going to be net zero soon through offsetting. You can't be pulling oil out of the ground and selling petrol, and I don't know.
Well, it's
Lord knows how many trees they say they're planting to offset that. But
then, you know, I then question what trees are being planted, because if they're planting a broadleaf tree, great, because that produces more that converts more carbon into oxygen and through the photosynthesis process. If they're planting pine trees and things like that with very narrow leaves, then it doesn't benefit as much at all, because of the surface area isn't as much.
So what's your advice there then, Adam? Do you think people need to be more selective in their offsetting schemes, or do you think they need to do something differently?
I think it would be
loaded question, that one.
It is, and I think it would be difficult for them to do that. But I do think that they just need to be more interrogative of their supply chain to see how people are managing their carbon. Are they using electric vehicles as opposed to diesel vehicles? At the moment, there aren't very many big electric vehicles, so lorries and things like that. They're all diesel, and you know, that's a huge volume of carbon being produced for the delivery of any vehicle. Are there other means of delivery that could be used that bulk up those loads so that they're not just running around like you see the Amazon truck vans running around?
What's your view on circular liquids then? There's a few circular schemes. It's in the retail space as well, called Loop. Yeah, it's called Loop, isn't it? What's your view on them? Do you think they're still quite carbon intensive? Obviously, they're being shipped around by diesel vehicles, probably.
They are, but they're it's an improvement. So if you've got a bulk container,
I would argue, is it though? Because you're doubling the transport. Yeah, it's got a net plastic benefit. I would agree.
So I've misunderstood you. So if you've got a bulk container in a retail store that people can go in with a clean bottle, or they can exchange a bottle and then they refill it.
No, that's not it. I'm talking about Loop, and it's come across into commercial cleaning a bit now as well. So whereby you buy your cleaning product and then your empty bottle is collected, and then you get a fresh one, and it's a refill loop done on transport. See, my view is that that's net positive in plastic. Not sure. I mean, I'd just have to do the maths, or someone do the maths for me. I'm not sure it's carbon.
No, I agree. And if I'm honest, I'm quite cynical about it, because it's got to work, and it's got the setups are quite difficult to evidence. So, for example, you've got a big national distributor that has a product that they will return the containers, but then the local depots won't necessarily have the setup to be able to do that, and so the whole system falls down.
So the claims that it's carbon neutral are tosh, then, really.
They're
offsetting. They must be offsetting, unless it's on an electric vehicle.
Yeah, like you say, they can't be carbon neutral because they're increasing the amount of transport. Unless they
can claim to be if they offset, though. This is the problem.
but like we said, they're buying stars.
Yeah. Yeah.
To really be of benefit, they should be.
Well, you need to go plant the tree down in your local forest, don't you? Then you know it's happening.
Yeah, but okay, let's go to the extreme of that. You plant a tree, which is basically a stick.
Yeah.
And it takes 20 years to come to maturity, and it takes those 20 years before it's really giving you any benefit.
Yeah, and how many degrees will our planet have raised in temperature before then? That's
exactly, yeah. And the cynic in me says, right, okay, we're going to plant 500 trees in this field, and then we're just going to walk away and leave them. Then we get a summer like we had last year, and they all die. So what's the benefit?
Yeah,
you've got, it's not, and even within planting the trees, most of these are using a mechanical means of doing it. So a tractor with an auger on it, which runs on diesel. But then you've got the maintenance of it. So if you don't want them to die in a drought, you've got to regularly water them. So that, and then you've got mechanical means of having to do that using a tractor and an irrigation system. So, it's not. It's not the best way to do it. A much more beneficial.
So in summary, you feel like the cleaning market needs to take a more holistic approach. Then we need to stop paying to take our problem away, which is what we're doing at the moment. We're putting money into schemes that make us feel better, but aren't really changing our future.
I think so, but the other thing, you've touched on something there, which has reminded one of my other pet subjects, which is waste management, and because that's the way that we're told that it works, and the same with waste management. That's the way we're told we have to do it, because there are very few companies that are looking at alternatives to the conventional methods of doing things. What they're all trying to do.
Well, we'll give them a mention now. So one of our favourites is. Remind me of their name. Was Paper Round? What are they called now?
Oh, Ricora. Yeah,
Ricora. I mean, it's great to see some businesses are starting to turn that tide, aren't they? They're pulling the lid off of waste management and saying, this is how we've always done it, but you should do it like this, and it's better for our planet.
You've got I can't remember the name of the company, but Elliot Lancaster's company uses barges and to transport waste down the canals around London.
Yeah, so a great scheme,
you've still got a diesel engine, but if it's anything like the barge diesel engines that I've seen and narrow boats, it's a 2-cylinder diesel engine. It's not using anything like the amount of fuel that a lorry would use to transport larger quantities of waste to a processing plant in the east of London. So
I guess the only frustrating thing for that is it's not national scalable, is it? Because of the waterway issues.
No.
You'd have to find a town or a city with similar waterway infrastructure to do it. I guess that's
the infrastructure was there, but it's slow. You only travel at 4 miles an hour, so it's not commercially viable. It works for them because they're within a fairly contained area. But going back to Ricor, have got at least one that I know of electric waste collection vehicle. Last year I saw it, and they took the engine out and replaced the fuel tanks with batteries and put an electric drivetrain in. Everything on it's electric, and it will do a whole day's round through London, doing collections, powered by electricity, return to its depot. I think it's in Dagenham that it goes to. I could be wrong on that, but it's certainly that area of London where it's tipped and charged, ready for the next day's use. So it is possible. I'm not sure of any other companies that are actually doing that. They allude to it, but I've not actually seen any evidence of it so far.
Oh, interesting time. Without meaning to rant and rabble on today, I think we'll draw a close there. So next time we will have a guest. Here's the plan, and we'll talk about a different subject. If you've got any questions about the CWA, drop myself or Adam a message on LinkedIn. We'll be relaunching our website early February. Apologies that hasn't been up for a while. We've been making some quite serious changes to it to make it kind of future proof. But yeah, if you're interested in the CWA and becoming a member, please drop us a message, and we will catch you all next time. Please give our new YouTube a follow and subscribe so you always see our podcast episodes, and we will be uploading the audio files to various platforms. I'll put it on Spotify and everything, but thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.